Not much going on, but soothe. Just calms the harshness. And strangely, I'm adding high end to it. Then, inevitably, soft knee compression. And finally, my spatial expander. Always good. It's a little TC plug. That's Suzanne. There's nothing going on with her. That's inevitable. And soft knee compression. So I always track with major compression. 1176, or currently it's this Universal Audio 6176, which I use here. It works great. I don't need anything else. It's valve, which funny enough I wouldn't gravitate to for vocals, but it sounds good. I used to use a Massenburg preamp with a Massenburg EQ and then an 1176. And then this box, I can't remember how I got it. Tried it for vocals and it worked fine. And I add a bit of high end and I roll off a bit of low end and compress like hugely on the way in, always. I want the meter to hit the end stop. That's how much gain reduction I want. I want to really, really do the business with compression. Probably I do the same here. Let me just check. Yeah, it's probably quite a lot. She's singing quietly and nearly everything is compressed. Well, so the mic pre is part of this UA 6176. It's a tube preamplifier and 1176 in there. It calls it 1176. It works for me. And the mic it's a Neumann 149, which is a reissue of a Neumann 49. It's just a standard microphone. I mean, I say standard, I'm lucky enough to have it. This 49 is just slightly brighter, and I just want a microphone in the room that works. I think messing with the vocal chain is the kiss of death. Just get the singer to sing. Don't overthink it. You can fix everything later. It's not sibilant, so because it's not sibilant, I don't have a problem with it. You can do anything. So it just lives in my room. If I didn't have that, I think I might strangely put an 87 up. Just a standard microphone. I think people get too wound up about vocal microphones. So long as it's good and gets a good recording, not distorted, I think you're in shape.
The one thing that lead singers absolutely love is their vocals soloed. So here's the vocal on tape.
I hear the world screaming out your name.
Well recorded, sounds really good.
But not for reasons of love or fame.
And then I put it through my outboard stuff, some compressors, some EQ, maybe a Neve module, I don't exactly remember, and then it ends up here, which is way quieter. Let's turn this up as much as we can.
World screaming out your name, but not for reasons of love or fame.
Here's the original.
World screaming out your name.
And here's mine. Switching back and
But
forth.
not for reasons of love or fame.
So as you can tell, it's got more character in it.
World screaming out your name.
More high end and cuts through. You get more consonants. All of that stuff. And now we're going to go through the plugins that I added to this. So a lot of times this guy will show up.
Out your name.
I think a lot of people sleep on this plugin. It's really cool. It's been around for a really long time. It sounds really great. a lot of times people who are just starting out will ask me like, hey, so what plugins do you use? And I was like, honestly, get Metric Halo Channel Strip and mix a whole song with that. Because when you think about it, when people were doing stuff with a console, it's one dynamics unit. It's one EQ. They're all the same. And there are tons of great records that have been made like that. So do we need 40 different EQ plugins starting out? No. You need one or two, right? My suggestion is, Channel Strip is a really great plugin, and it has a lot of really cool features in it. We'll look at a few of the tricks in a minute. Man, it sounds great. So there's no reason why you couldn't mix an entire record just with Channel Strip starting out when you're learning how EQ and limiting and all that stuff, plays a part. This has everything you need to get something going. And the stock plugins in your DAW, you can do the same thing. When you start branching out, then there's different reasons to use different things. And obviously there's like really cool character that you can get from the UAD stuff and stuff. But this is a cool plugin. And one of the things, one of the tricks that I like the most about it is this limiter, right? Turn the limiter on. Here's the vocal. And just dime it. I think this thing has a really cool character to it. A lot of times this is toward the end of a vocal change. It just kind of bring it up, but this enhances everything that's before it. Obviously, it's like a magnifying glass. And I forgot what else I was using on this. I mean, I'm using a little bit of EQ. This is kind of a cool EQ. She didn't need some all the way up here, but another cool thing to do with this is to bring some real high-end air.
Where did you go?
Sounds great. It's great sounding EQ.
Here.
Also, this compressor adds thickness to
I
stuff.
hear the world screaming out your
Obviously, it's adding
name.
gain, but it also seems to add like a low, mid-range
But not
fullness
for
to certain things. So
reasons of love or fame.
she doesn't necessarily need it, but it can be a really
Where
great,
did you go?
useful trick for someone who sounds a little bit
Here.
thin, or goes up into a higher register in the chorus, and you can kick this on and get some more body. All right, so that's obviously on the vocal. I'm just going to loop this one phrase. See what else we got. First thing I almost always do is take low end off the vocal. Then, because I think this probably came later in the process after I blended it in, this I'm using a little bit of compression and actually no EQ. It's basically just the compressor. And this thing gives it a little bit of an aggressive edge, which I think is cool. Tiny bit of Dolby. This is actually a fair amount for me. Usually it's down by 6% if I'm using it. This thing makes a huge difference on a lot of vocalists. I love True Iron. As you can tell, there's a lot of character to it, and you can have a lot of fun with this plugin. All of these models will work differently. And as you can tell, I'm also times tuning it here and giving it a little bit of gain, so I'm deliberately putting, and it's boosting. So I'm deliberately putting a little distortion in it, because when we're blending this into an aggressive track, it just gives it some character. This for me shows up on a lot of vocals, the UAD, LA2. This plugin's interesting. Sometimes I use compression on it, sometimes I just use it for vibe. One of the things that is fun to do is to hear this, how much this can change the vocal. One's got more high end. One's fuller. If you have a vocalist that needs a little tweaking, sometimes bringing it over here will mellow some stuff out, or sometimes you need to leave it over to the right to get it to cut. I use this a lot too. So you'll notice on Pro Tools you see this. Yeah, okay, we're sick of hearing that line, right? You'll notice that as this thing plays, let's listen to this line 100 times. You see the dynamics indicator in Pro Tools, and people would see that and be like, oh my God, he's smashing it. But actually, it's almost all this. So one of the things I really like to do with the multiband is to isolate out stuff that you can barely hear. It's all the low crap.
but not for reasons.
And when you get these peaks down here, see, even though we're filtering, you get these really low
but not
peaks.
for
And so I will use, thank you, Pro Tools, I will use this thing to dynamically get rid of that super low stuff. And then you adjust this to make sure you don't take too many lows out of the voice.
but not for reasons of love or fame.
But you kind of get the crap out of the low end.
Reasons of love
You want to do
or
that before you hit
fame.
a limiter,
But not for reasons of
because the limiter will react differently if you've got subsonic stuff in there. It'll make, it'll make things kick around differently. Looks like we needed a little bit of de-essing on her.
but not for reasons of love or fame.
Changes the character of the vocal too, which I like. There's like a ton of de-essers. They all sound different on vocals, so your mileage may vary. This one's really powerful and maybe sometimes scary. I like the Fab Filter stuff a lot too. There's a DBX 902 emulation that's really good. A lot of times I'll use Soothe. It just depends on what the vocal needs. Sometimes you're gonna put like 3 de-essers on a vocal, right? You have no idea. And then on this one, I even wanted some more aggression. So I used this plugin, which as you see, is kind of stepping on it pretty hard.
I hear the world screaming out your, I hear the world screaming out,
Brings out the consonants, a little more aggro.
screaming out your name. I hear the world screaming out your name. Reasons of love or fame.
Another thing that was interesting about this song is there's no chorus vocal, which is really rare. It's just kind of a melodic thing. Again, maybe it was playing for sync stuff. Maybe this was for a movie. I don't remember what the exact thing was for. Another piece of advice that I got early, and it's hard to remember, but it's really amazing if you do it, is if you're playing through a song and you hear something that you know is going to be an event, or you hear something that you know needs to be fixed, just stop what you're doing and do it right then, because you're going to forget it 30 seconds from now, right? What that is that's your gut. That's your instinct saying, hey, that thing is cool, or that thing is a problem. I want to go in and grab that right now, right? So listening obliquely, like it's over there, it's really low level, and something caught my ear, and it was this. That really cool whisper part, right? That needs to be a moment. So I know that because I'm looking at it, oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe we didn't end up using it. I added something to it, which has automation on it and is not being used. Hang on one second. Let's see what this was. I'm curious. Okay, so I was like, oh, that's a really cool moment. So what I'm gonna do is add a low octave with some distortion on. And here's without. So obviously that was an insanely brilliant idea that Warren, just couldn't see because he's myopic. And I had to turn it off. I'm kidding, Warren. It's you've probably, if you've seen anything I've said, you've probably heard me say this before. If you're not getting ideas turned down, if you're not getting fired, then you're not trying hard enough. So if you hear something, like I heard something right there and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to set that little whisper off in that quiet moment before the chorus hits like a hammer with something weird and something a little different. I tried it, producer didn't like it, artist didn't like it, that's fine. It's their record. They gotta listen to it for the rest of their life. I gotta listen to it for a day. I'm happy to just shut that off. I thought that was a really cool idea. They didn't, no big deal, but you gotta try it, right? Like, don't be scared to try stuff. Don't be scared to fly stuff around. Don't be scared to have a voice, because if somebody hates it, it's just like, cool, undo, right? It's super easy. Let's see what else we were doing here. A couple little delay tricks. That's something I probably would have added later, after I was done riding the vocal, after I was just seeing where everything pocketed and trying to keep it interesting. And you'll notice it's just the first verse. Second verse didn't have any of that. So what's interesting about this is there's no chorus vocal. It's just this. Which I think is fascinating because there's some really kind of cool harmonic major minor stuff going on there. At that point, you're going to be like, okay, well, this is the chorus. What are we going to do with it? So let's take a look. So if we turn off all of our plugins and see what was being used and what wasn't. Let's see what we got. So I wanted that stuff to stand out. So add a little character to it, add a little reverb to it. And then this thing, I actually have an AEX plugin of this, but this is a really cool plugin called Crowd Chamber, which just puts some weird modulated distortion. It makes it sound like more people, especially in the track. So I would have bussed these because I wanted control over them as opposed to some of these other vocals that were background vocals. Just drag this up here. And then this is a standard background vocal chain with some stuff added to it. So a little bit of compression, a ton of de-essing. Ultra channel, I use this for, this thing adds a little mojo to it, tiny bit of EQ. I've used that for a long time, it just ends up on the background channel. This is just adjusting some left-right stuff. As you can see, again, getting rid of all the low end. We don't need that, you know, we got a lot of other things down there we want the vocals to cut through, so let's just get rid of that stuff. Little Renaissance axe on these. It's an aggressive song. Axe puts a little bit of edge into stuff. You can put it on, try it on vocals. Sometimes it gets stuff to poke through. Again, metric halo, a little bit of the limiter, and a little bit of gating for when it goes all the way down to the bottom, just to make sure that that's clean when it's not playing. And then this thing, I've been playing with this thing. You can, I'm gonna guess that this was just left on this track because there's no lead vocal in the chorus, but sometimes I mess around with taking the lead vocal and sending a side chain to the vocal rider, especially when there's tight harmonies on stuff. And that way the vocal rider was designed to look at your whole mix and help you keep a vocal in a sweet spot, right? It's probably came from film for dialogue. But the fun thing to do to use it is to put it on your backgrounds and then send from your lead vocal, and it'll sit there and help ride the backgrounds around the lead vocal, which is kind of useful. And it also helps give you a head start on when you're gonna have to do a ton of rides on harmonies. So that's a fun trick to try. All of the backgrounds get summed, and then they go into some pretty basic effects, which, as you can see, here's the UAD Cooper time cube that just gives it some spread, left, right, and here's a delay that it's kind of fun. Should probably listen to this too. See, that just brings it out, spreads it out, a little high end, a little sauce. There are your backgrounds. Let's see what else. Just standard harmony stuff. Some doubles. Sweet, so I actually did sneak a low octave vocal in there somewhere that Warren didn't catch. Or maybe he didn't, they liked it, I don't know. But that's definitely something that got snuck in there. There's a couple ways to do this. It's easy to throw auto-tune on it and just dime it down an octave. And again, that was just me trying to put something in at the beginning of the second chorus, like leading into the second chorus, to kind of set it off and give your ear something different to grab. Let's see what else we got. So here's something that was the end of the bridge, and I duplicated it, put a little BX20 on it, just to give it some vibe. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, these things were cool. These things were layered in under the bridge. So I was like, let's make these interesting. So what can we do to them? This is also a duplicate, pitched up an octave, right? So the original, but we already had that, right? So I duplicated it on 2 tracks, probably through one somewhere between 10 and 25 milliseconds to the left, so it's spread out. Got rid of some of the low end, pitched it up an octave, gave it some delay, some filter delay, and the shimmer thing, and it's essentially working as an effect send for this vocal that's repeated. Because the first part of the bridge, it's going to play twice. And then when we get to this part, you want to make it go somewhere. So try something. Just some ambience. If you lose it, it just sounds cool. So I stuck with it. And because I was amped on that, I added it down here, which are these guys back up on that track. That's just adding some kind of crazy high end, just make that last section sound interesting and just kind of set it up, like pick it up one more notch. So that's about everything. Down here, by the way, if you were wondering what these are some analog outboard pieces of gear that I use on occasion. Stuff like, you know, delays. These will be vocal things. This is a long church program I just used on the intro. This is a snare reverb, an old Sony. This is a slap. I just print those because, you know, it's good to have them. So let's see where we were sending that stuff from. So yeah, like that snare reverb. It's coming from the snares. But just a little bit, just to give it some ambience. The majority of it is coming from this sample because it's an obnoxious ringy sample and I just wanted to make it bigger. So just makes it spread out more, a little more aggressive. It sounds cool without it, but it doesn't sound as big. So that's what the snare verb is for. Let's go back to the vocal. See what we ended up doing on the effects. So this is a little bit of slap. You can do this with Echo Boy, you can Echo Cat, like anything, just a tiny bit of slap, which I keep mono generally, and it adds.
Where did you go? Were you here?
It adds a little bit of presence, right? And it adds a little bit of, I don't know, just, it's kind of a vibe. This is another outboard delay, which is more of a bounce around kind of stereoized thing. These are long delays.
Not for reasons of love or fame. Where did you go?
Delays like that are really fun to kick in choruses too. I mean, in this song, it worked in the verse because there's no chorus vocal, but sometimes it's really cool to kick in a longer delay like that on a chorus, and it sets the vocal off. And then what is this?
I hear the world screaming out your name.
Okay, these are in the box effects, right? So
I hear the world screaming
let's see what we were
out
using.
your name.
It's probably an 1/8 or 1/4, 1/8 note delay. This is something longer. Oh no, it actually isn't. Just another 1/8 note delay with a character. This delay is really cool. It does a lot of cool filtered stuff. Also, on longer delays, what I'll do is I'll side chain from the vocal and put a gate after it. So when she's singing, it's bringing the effect down a little bit, as you can see, about 10 dB, and then it comes back when she lets go. So the perception is when you're listening to it, you hear delay on the vocal, but it doesn't muddy up the vocal while she's singing. This is a space echo. It's a little bit of delay and a little bit of reverb, kind of in the middle. And then, because I don't want it to get all splatty and stuff, I will take a bunch of S's out of it and compress it a little bit, and then, EQ some of the low mid-range out so it doesn't get in the way of the vocal, but it gives it a little bit of character. My basic setup is going to have a bunch of effects, and I'll import from a newer song. And again, it's the same idea. Like, I'm going to have, 10 to 15 different effects on 2 different sends, one that's usually a regular send and one that's like a chorus send. And as the song happens, you're looking for character. It's really easy to just turn things on and off and move things up and down until you can very quickly find something that really works for the tune, instead of like, I think I need a delay. Okay, so now I'm going to create a send and then create an aux and go find a delay and put it on the aux and kind of adjust it and make sure that it's 100% wet, and then listen to it. Maybe I'll try a different delay, and do another one, and maybe I'll try something else. And you taking yourself out of the creative flow and putting it into the left brain side of things where you're thinking about that. Now all of a sudden you're focusing on the mechanics of like putting tracks together and what you might be doing. You start to lose the fact that you're just going for a vibe or you're going for a feel. Let's see what else we did with her. A little bit of vocal spread. Again, a DS and a 1/4 note delay this time.
But not for reasons of love or fame.
Which just kind of seemed to fit the vibe of the song. And then this, obviously, I had a plate sound, and it didn't work, or I didn't like it, so it's just off. All of that stuff combines together. The other thing to notice is this right here. This is also going to my console, and when it goes to the console, it goes to a parallel send, I believe.
I hear the world screaming out your name.
Yep.
But not for reasons of love or fame. Where did you go? I hear the world screaming out your name.
So the parallel is giving it a little
But
bit
not
of
for reasons of love or fame.
boogie.
Where did you go? Were you here? I don't know. Was
I'll do that in the box now. A lot of times we'll talk about that later.
Wayne has a really strong voice that sounds great doubled.
Try to keep it all inside. Try to hold it in. Try to keep it to the grave. Tell me how I should behave.
Reverb and delay, that's our main stuff that we're doing here. Let's see, these are doubled vocals right now.
Try to keep it all inside. Try to hold it in. Try to keep it to the grave. Tell me how I should behave. Try to make it all things dark. Try to.
We didn't even do any EQing. We took a bit of low rumble out of there, and did some compressing. Again, with probably our favorite compressor here.
Try to keep it all inside. Try to hold it in. Try to keep it to the grave. Tell me how I should behave.
Just getting a little smoother, a little darker with this one actually, just to fit into the mix.
Try to keep it all inside. Try to hold it in. Try to keep it to the grave. Tell me how I should.
Made a little dreamier. This is a plug-in situation I like here. Is this Discord 3 by Audio Damage. And if you see this channel, I label it 1580. It's at the time when I switched over to mixing in the box, we didn't have the AMS, the AMS 1580. That's what we're looking at. The DMX 1580, I think it was called. It's been forever. And we used to set that up very much like this. A couple of cents up and down on the left and right side, and a couple of milliseconds delay on the left and right side, and that would just fatten our vocal sound, or anything else for that matter. Thinking of it kind of like a stereo, a stationary chorus, and so.
Try to keep it all inside. Try to hold it in. Try to.
It just kind of puts that vocal a little bit into the stereo field, as opposed to being just like a dead mono kind of track. It gives it a little bit of width, and then combined with the double.
Try to keep it all inside. Try to hold it in.
And with a tight double like this, you can tell like these, both of these are exactly the same level. It's not one of them supporting the other one, and that's actually something I recommend for general double tracking, to do each take by itself without listening to the original one, only because, we're talking about a lead vocal. Yeah, it's two of them, and one of them technically is supporting the other one, if you will, but really both of those tracks could be there like a single lead vocal, and should be as good as its own lead vocal. So if you're recording a doubled vocal while listening to the original, half of your brain is paying attention to that other vocal and trying to mimic it, try to follow it, and you're probably lagging it. You're probably not having as much energy with it because you're thinking about the other vocal, as opposed to just nailing another lead vocal and then looking to see if it's tight enough. So I always suggest doing blind vocal doubling, and then picking the doubles that work. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't listen to the original one and figure out what inflections you had and all that stuff. But you do it without listening to that one when you actually do the double tracking. And then you can get away with, two basically identical lead vocals that sound really tight together. And mind you, all this was done and recorded. We had Pro Tools back then, and we started working on that sort of thing, but there was much less of vocal processing going on at the time while recording and comping. These are just basically comped vocal tracks. This just called for kind of like a bit more spaciness, and so I used one of my favorite I use it on drums too sometimes, but this is one of my favorite reverb plugins from Universal Audio, and this EMT 250. Started using that when it first came out, and still using it. It's a great little plugin.
Try to keep it all inside. Try to hold it Try to keep it to the grave.
It's a nice reverb. It's a good little decay. Stays out of the way, and you can still get plenty of it. And it's a good tone to it. And besides this reverb and this, the 1580 imitation, also using a delay here. It's just a stock delay, evidently a modified quarter note. With a little bit of deviation. Let's see what.
Try to keep it all inside. Try to hold it in. Try to.
Or am I making things up here? No, it's pretty close to quarter note.
Try to keep it all inside. Try to hold it in. Try to.
Taking a lot of low end out of there, so it's not quite as thick sounding. To make space. It's all about making space. Every single one of these plugins, every single knob, everything, just make something louder somewhere. Maybe everything louder everywhere, or just a portion of it somewhere, or it's all about finding space and balancing things.
Try to keep it all inside. Try to hold it in. Try to keep it to the grave. Tell me how I should behave. Try to make it all things dark. Try to light in your black heart. Try to act just like I should. You know I would if I could.
Oh, I'll turn this back on. So somehow or another, I decided that this needs to be sitting on its own thing. Let's go find out why. Level-wise, it's a little louder. This is probably a remnant of me trying something a little different for that line, maybe getting more aggressive or distorted on the vocal for the last line to pop it up a little bit and propel it into the chorus. Probably an idea that, obviously it's an idea that was abandoned, and it just basically sounds, sonically, it's the same as the other take or the other track, but it's a little bit louder. And I guess it helps propel it into the chorus this way.
Should. You know I would if I could. You want it, you need it, you got it, you got it. Yeah. You take it, you make it, everything feels hollow.
And here we are looking at the EQ of the chorus vocal. You can see that we goosed some of the high end and a little bit of aggression in the middle here, just to, like we have louder guitars, we have more high end, we have that high end squealy synth that's in there, and we're competing against that. So this helps us, like pop the vocal out a bit. But because of that, we have some S's that are coming in hot, and I'm using a de-esser to take care of that.
Take it, you make it, everything feels hollow.
The feels hollow thing.
Take it, you make it, everything feels hollow. Take it.
This is a cool de-esser. I have probably about 8 de-essers. They all work a little differently. I like this one because this one kind of allows you to, let me copy this for a minute. This allows you to draw in certain places. It allows you to de-ess multiple things at the same time, multiple bands, which is kind of cool. So your de-essing curve could look like this.
Make it, you make it, everything feels hollow.
So you could do, and then you can adjust exactly in how much of that is, or you can boost it too. A very powerful de-esser. It takes a lot of time to experiment with it. It doesn't work all the time. It works many times. I'm just paste my old setting back in there, and there it is. This is what I had. just to control that 1S basically. In the short, just, you know, sensitivity of how quickly you want that to DS and how much you want to DS. And then, you know, a little bit of, you know, your dry wet, it's self-explanatory. Auto, you know, like, again, I just kind of leave it where it sets it when I open it up. And sometimes you just kind of mess around a little bit to get your desired results. I never really mess with these things. I think these are just more like a preset thing. But especially since I only use it on solo vocals. So with those reeled in, let me just paste that back again. With those S's back in check, after adding that high end, we're back in business and we can work on what Tony has to say for himself down here.
You take it, you make it, everything feels hollow.
And this is how it all works together. Tony has that low thing that he does there. Same 1580 thing and same reverb for Tony. Oh, you know, they all kind of appear in the same place. The EQ wise, he needed, this was obviously recorded at a different time and different place. He needed just a lot more air, a lot more, you know, clarity, I guess. What a vocal, right? Some guttural good stuff. Pan them left and right a little bit, not fully. And with the, oh, one thing I wanted to mention is that this guy here, my Discord, without it, there we go. He just, you know, appears on the left side at about, you know, 40. With this one in there, you can see him, he pops up, it's in the stereo bus, a little bit on the right as well. What I do with this thing is I actually have it set up that with this direction mixer that I flip left and right. So when something's panned to the left and I add it to this thing, it'll then show up on the right. You see that? And conversely, the left, the other side as well, of course. It just kind of flips it, and it just kind of gives, like, adds that track to the other side, and then we have both of them together. It just kind of fills it out real nice. Same idea over here. These guys get delays along with it. Doing a little panning. They're, you know, so they're one of them, the first one's to the left, second one's to the right. That way they you know, separate out a little bit, so it's not, again, it's finding some movement. There's a lot of this, a lot of this heavy music is very much like a, you know, like a train down the middle of a kick, snare, bass, and lead vocals going down the middle, heavy guitars left and right, and, you know, then you have other stuff that kind of, you know, lets you get to play with other stuff that comes in and out on the left and right, and gives you some movement, gives you some fun places to put stuff, some ear candy. That's where all that stuff can live. And so that's how you end up with the chorus like this. Then it's time to go into the bridge, and that's where we get some excitement.
drink, it's hard to swallow.
So the idea here is to make it more whispery sounding. That's that low end rumbly thing in there, that hoarse kind of horsiness.
I feel hollow, no tomorrow. Take a drink, it's hard to swallow.
Filter, filter, filter. The low end, the high end, boost a lot of high end, boost a lot of mid range.
I feel hollow, no tomorrow. Take a drink, it's
Do some quick, some fast attack compression on this thing. I had to take the level down a lot because apparently this stuff adds a lot of gain. Who would have known boosting adds gain?
I feel hollow, no tomorrow. Take a drink, it's hard to swallow. I feel hollow, no tomorrow.
And here again, this, we're going from a single whisper, to a scream, but the two whispers, whisper doubles on the left and right.
Hard to swallow. I feel hollow, no tomorrow. Take a drink, it's hard to swallow. I feel hollow, no tomorrow. Take a drink, it's hard to swallow. It's hard to swallow. I feel hollow, no tomorrow. Take a drink, it's hard to swallow.
So same idea. I'm quite certain the EQ is the same, but we're going from bone dry whisper to regular vocal treatment as the standard lead vocal thing, and then that all goes along with the screaming track here.
I feel hollow, not tomorrow. Take a drink and hard to swallow. I feel hollow, not tomorrow. Take a drink and
Use some compression to reel it in so it can get along, play nicely with the whispers.
I feel hollow, not tomorrow. Take a drink and hard to swallow.
The whispers are really just used to kind of fill in some of the warmth that's needed in that screamy section.
I feel hollow, not tomorrow. Take a drink and hard to swallow. I feel hollow, not tomorrow. Take a drink and
Again, you can really tell what they're doing when you mute them.
I feel hollow, not tomorrow. Take a drink and hard to swallow. I feel hollow, not tomorrow. Take a drink and hard to swallow. You want it, you need it, you got it, you got it. You take it.
So then, at the end, we're looking at this little effecty stuff that we had clobbered together back in the day.
Want it, you want it, you want it. You got it, you got it, you got it. You take it, you make it. Hello.
So this consists of
Want it, you want it, you want it. You got it, you got it, you got it.
all right, so we have the regular lead vocal,
Want it, you want it, you want it. You got it, you got it, you
that's getting the chorus EQ treatment, chorus compression and EQ treatment. And this guy is kind of a distorted version of it.
want it, you want it, you want it. You got it, you got it, you got it. You take it, you make it.
This one needed some cleaning up, evidently. Had to haul out that murky stuff out of there to make space for the lead vocal. And then the delay we had already printed back in the day. So, the stuttery thing, I think just kind of started out at the time, and so we partook in the festivities. Now everybody does it. Everybody stutters and glitches all over the place. And there's some fun plugins for that sort of thing too. But, This was from back then. We liked it then, and we just used it the way it was because it's fun.
Strike the ground with all your strength. You're the first of many to come. The worlds you've known, you have outgrown. And child, your work has only just begun. Tear it down.
Morgan is one of the easiest vocalists I've ever had to mix. He's extremely well-trained singer. He's very, very controlled. I barely have to do anything. I mean, we didn't record with a compressor on his voice at all, which normally is something I would do, but he's got great control of his voice. It's insane. So let's listen to it with the acoustic guitar and the vocal, with no reverb or any processing on it.
I wanna know what lives in the heart of man, deep inside the shadows of the soul. I wanna feel the sting of the morning light, bathing the hills and valleys in its gold. And I know that I put my world at stake. My shoulders will ache from the weight, but I don't mind. If the past is supposed to guide the hand, the future is built on grains of sand. Tear it down, build it stronger than before. Forge it from fire and build it to endure. Steal your heart, if only for the fight. Tomorrow another day will come, I'm sure.
Great voice. He's so easy to mix. So just upon playing it again, I have a picture in my head of how I want him to sound, then I hit play and I listen to it. Voice is a little bit thinner than I wish it was, but I'm also hearing some pop, 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 some P's that probably got through the pop filter. Where was that big one that I heard? Now this vocal's already tuned. We did that in the other video if you want to kind of go back and watch that. I barely have to tune Morgan. It's great. A note here and there.
I wanna feel the sting of the morning light, bathing the hills and valleys in its gold. And I know that I put my world at stake. My shoulders will ache from the weight, but I don't mind.
So that put is a little bit.
And I know that I put my world.
So I haven't done any filtering on it. The first thing I'll do is kind of see if that helps it, but don't be afraid to go in there for these P's like that guy, and you can just gain them down. Or even EQ them. Just put a low filter on that one part. Gain that guy down, and that should help. Might be aggressive, let's see.
I put my world.
Already better. Now, obviously I didn't do that, so I didn't feel the need after I put the plugins on, but sometimes I'll go through if it's really bad and I'll take care of all those P's and B's. You just highlight them, gain them down. Again, takes forever. It's like doing the tom thing, but especially if you're putting compression on a vocal, those little plosives can really send your compression into haywire and just cause you all sorts of hell. All right, so first thing on a vocal, I almost always put a de-esser first. I know I'm going to put a compressor on it, and compressors will bring out the sizzle of something. So I kind of want to just preemptively strike that down and put a little bit of a de-esser on there. Nothing crazy. I'm just using the normal one here.
I want.
Set to 6K.
I want to know what lives in the heart of man, deep inside the shadows of the soul.
Anytime with a de-esser, you want to make sure you're not doing it too much because you will make them sound like they have a lisp. Let me show you what that sounds like. It's pretty funny.
I want to know what lives in the heart of man, deep inside the shadows of the soul.
You can kind of hear it's just making all the S's funky. So I like to be nice and gentle. You can always put more DS on later.
I want to know what lives in the heart of man, deep inside the shadows of the soul.
Nice. It's a really simple de-esser. It's kind of a no-brainer plugin. I like it. All right, so we didn't use any compression when we were tracking this. I would have put an 1176 on it. It's one of my favorite vocal compressors. So I just used the Bomb Factory one that comes with Pro Tools. This thing's great.
I want to know what lives in the heart of man, deep inside the shadows of the soul.
Not doing much so far.
I wanna feel the sting of the morning light, bathing the hills and valleys in its gold. And I know that I put my world at stake. My shoulders will ache from the weight, but I don't mind.
This plugin, this compressor has a really neat way of making stuff sound thicker and more aggressive at the same time. I just love it on vocals and snare drums.
Tear it down, build it stronger than before. Forge it from fire and build it to endure.
You kind of hear what it's doing there in the low mids. Just adding this nice, like, thickness.
Steal your heart, if only for the fight. Tomorrow another day will come, I'm sure.
So once again, I'm not trying to solve all my compression issues with this one compressor. I'm just putting it on there to kind of add something in that I was missing. We'll see that I later on put more compression on it, actually 2 more stages, really, that take care of other problems. So there's just a simple de-esser, simple compressor, and now my EQ plugin, just my EQ 3.7 band. Looks like what I was doing here was a little bit of a air boost, which is always nice on a vocal, and looks like cutting some low mid resonances and cutting some low end. So let's see what that did.
Steal your heart, if only for the fight. Tomorrow another day will come, I'm sure.
So this is another case that I probably went and swept through my mid-range frequencies to find where I was hearing a little bit of that weird kind of singing through a cardboard tube sound. Looks like I found one at 350 and another one at 1.6K.
Steal your heart, if only for the fight.
That's really ugly, so I brought a little bit of that down.
Steal your heart, if only for the fight. Tomorrow another day will come, I'm sure. Of this I'm sure. Of only this I'm sure.
So again, not a crazy amount of EQ going on there, but just a little bit of fixing and then a little bit of enhancing. And now I have my character compressor on there, my smack. Let's listen to what that guy's doing. 3-to-1 ratio. Looks like I did a great job gain staging that one. Let's see. They have this cool little sidechain EQ. It just changes how the compressor reacts to different frequencies. If it's a bit spitty, I'll use this guy up here. A little bit of that harmonic stuff added into it. Let's see how it sounds.
Tear it down, build it stronger than before. Forge it from fire and build it to endure. Steal your heart, if only for the fight.
Again, this compressor is kind of giving me a bit of a boost in the thickness and that little low mid thing going on. Plus, it's just really nice bringing out the detail, all those little things in his voice that he does really, really well. So already 2 stages of compression. I'm kind of bringing the dynamics, reining them in a bit, but also adding character as I'm doing it. Another de-esser. So I don't have one de-esser doing too much. I have 2 de-essers doing a little bit.
Tear it down, build it stronger than before. Forge it from fire and build it to endure. Steal your heart, if only for the fight.
It's really helping with those things going on there so they don't sound too in your face. Now here's a fun one. Again, I love distortion plugins. So I put that same air distortion on there. This time a little bit of a parallel processing thing going on. I don't even have my drive cranked up at all. I have this pre-shape to probably add a little bit of brightness to it, but I only have it mixed in at a little below half.
Tear it down, build it stronger than before. Forge it from fire and build it to endure.
And it's really just adding edge to his voice. I'll show you what the whole thing sounds like all the way wet.
Steal your heart, if only for the fight.
It's dry.
Tomorrow another day will come, I'm sure. Of this I'm sure. Of only...
So you can see when it was all the way wet, it was way too aggressive. It sounds like industrial. But just a little bit added in there, I'm kind of bringing in something that I was missing from that vocal, a little bit of parallel processing. So that's my vocal chain in the song. It's actually not that much. So a lot of times I have more stuff on there, and I'll have it split across many different tracks. This one was really fun. You can see what later we'll get into is the reverbs and delays that are on here got really fun. But let's hear that vocal with the acoustic guitars.
I wanna know what lives in the heart of man, deep inside the shadows of the soul. I wanna feel the sting of the morning light, bathing the hills and valleys in its gold. And I know that I put my world at stake. My shoulders will ache from the weight, but I don't mind. If the past is supposed to guide the hand, the future is built on grains of sand. Tear it down, build it stronger than before. Forge it from fire and build it to endure. Steal your heart, if only for the fight. Tomorrow another day will come, I'm sure.
A bad edit in there, but apparently it didn't bug me when I did the final mix, so we'll just ignore it. I keep hearing. So there we have pretty much the basis of the song, the vocal and the acoustic guitar. What I'm gonna do next is put a little bit of reverb on that vocal. I put some on the acoustic so it sounds like it's in a space. I want to put some on the vocal so it sounds like it's in a space. Now, if this was just vocal and acoustic guitar, I would probably send that vocal to the same reverb I sent my acoustic guitar to. But we're going to be adding stuff in. I want to be able to have a little more control, so I'll kind of show you how I initially get my reverbs going in my vocal. I like to blend or stack reverbs on top of each other. Same way I don't like any one compressor doing all of my work, I don't like any one reverb doing all of my work, especially with the vocal. So a lot of times I'll set up, I usually just start with my stock 3, a room, a plate, and a hall. And I'll create a send to each one, and I'll just sit there and balance it depending on how I think it needs to sound in that song. So we'll kind of see what I had going on here. We'll start with the room. There's some automation on here. We'll try to ignore that for now.
Tear it down, build it stronger than before. Forge it from fire and build it to endure. Steal your heart, if only for the fight.
So it's like a nice, short little room on there. I use that. It was the same room that I put the acoustic guitar in, just on its own plugin. With a lot of reverb, especially vocal reverbs, I'll put, again, filter out some of this low end. I don't want that stuff building up and getting mushy later on in the mix. So if it doesn't need to be there, I just get rid of it. I'm actually surprised I didn't put more processing on my reverb here. I'll put pre-EQ, post-EQ, I'll put compressors on my reverbs, all sorts of fun things. Compressing reverb is really fun. I didn't do it on this one. I think I was going for more of a natural sound. But here I did take out some of the low end just in case. I don't want that stuff creeping up on me. So there's my short room.
Tear it down, build it stronger than before. Forge it from fire and build it to endure.
Just a nice quick one. Looks like I have a plate on here as well, tucked down a little more.
Tear it down, build it stronger than before. Forge it from fire and build it to endure.
Tiny bit longer, a little bit brighter. This is just the plate one on this convolution reverb. I use deverb all the time. The room, plate, and hall settings on those guys, they're great. So you don't need to go nuts with your reverbs, but it's nice to have a little bit of fun with them. And I love plates. Same thing, filtered out some low end that might creep up on me. And then finally my longer one, my hall, tucked down even further.
Tear it down, build it stronger than before. Forge it from fire and build it to endure.
It's got a couple seconds of reverb on it. I don't want this thing to be washed out. So that's really just there to kind of help the thing move along. But you'll kind of hear when you stack them all together, they're a little bit cooler sounding.
Tear it down, build it stronger than before. Forge it from fire and build it to endure.
It creates a more kind of complex reverb sound than just one thing. And as you're going, you know your room's short, your plate's medium, and your hall's long. So if you need to kind of tailor that tail a little bit more, you can bring one up or one down. If you need a bit brighter, you can bring up the plate. If you need a bit warmer, you can bring up the room. It's really fun to kind of stack reverbs like that. And you can have a lot of fun with mixing and matching different ones. So those are my normal 3 that I put on there. Just a simple room, a simple plate, a simple hall. For different songs, you might have more aggressive reverbs. We can see I actually put on something down here I called slappy verb. I don't even know what that means, but I guess we'll find out later. So there's the basis of that. Now my vocal has some space on it. We have some acoustic guitars in there, and I can start bringing in some other stuff.
If the past is supposed to guide the hand, the future is built on grains of sand. Tear it down, build it stronger than before. Forge it from fire and build it to endure. Steal your heart, if only for the fight. Tomorrow another day will come, I'm sure. Of this I'm sure.
Bad edits driving me nuts.
Tomorrow another day will come, I'm sure.
It's just sloppy editing. I know there's no point in fixing it now, but I'm gonna do it anyway because we have to listen to this.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, get rid of that guy. I would go in and just recomp that if this was the final mix, but it's not. So
Day will come, I'm sure.
great. All right, can't hear it. Perfect.